So here's another complex damp survey in a mansion block, top floor, right-hand property. There's dampness in the corner, but there's also dampness in the bay. Here we see a drip coming through during a named storm, Storm Aisha, on the 4th of January. It was very windy, gusting 50, 60 miles per hour, with heavy rain lashing onto the bay. So we can go back and have a look at the weather on the 4th of January during Storm Aisha. Heavy rain, the direction was northwest. It says 15 miles an hour, but in fact it was gusting 50 to 60 miles an hour. As you can see, the flat itself is exposed to the northwest. Looking from above the bay, we can see the wall is in good order. No obvious gaps or cracks. Looking underneath the lintel, we can see a gap. The windows appear to be replacement windows, double glazing, and a gap has appeared between the window and the lintel. It needs to be filled. Given that all the windows were replaced at the same time, it's probable that this is a building-wide issue and that the whole building needs to be looked at and repaired. So that accounts for the drip in the bay. The other damp issues in the property come from condensation in poorly insulated parts of the property and ventilation. Here a thermal imaging camera. Here's a thermal imaging lens where blue is colder than orange. You can see cold zones in the corner where there's increased heat loss there. These properties were not built with insulation and ventilation in mind. Modern day living means that people tend to use the shower much hotter than was originally designed, and for longer periods, at least once a day. Here, the simple radio frequency damp meter is recording high levels of dampness within the wall. I recommend that you buy one. They cost about £23, and you can measure dampness maybe once a month to see whether the wall is drying out after following my recommendations.
Okay, that's concerning.
It's particularly damp around the radiator. That's because it's a body of water and metal that causes heat loss, increasing the risk of condensation when not in use. Likewise, a blocked up vent will represent heat loss at night, increasing the risk of condensation around the vent.
Yes, there's dampness around there, which is not really surprising. I'll look in the thermal image, but
while the vent in the thermal image looks warmer, in fact at night it will be colder. Looking immediately outside, we also see render cracks. These cracks can allow moisture to penetrate through, but in this case it's not penetrating the whole way through because there's no brown stain. However, a damp brick is a poor insulator, increasing the risk of condensation. In the rear bedroom, the wall is very damp. This is because there's a chimney breast behind here, and chimneys are made from single bricks with a cold vent in the middle. They have poor insulation, increasing the risk of condensation. Have a look at some of my past videos. Two back from here is quite a good illustration of condensation on a chimney breast. There's also dampness in the corner. Corners have increased heat loss because of the increased surface area on the outside. In this case, it's also close to a workstation where one of the tenants is working at home. The extra vapor from respiration increases the risk of condensation. This thermal film illustrates the heat loss from the chimney breast now, and then in the corner from the increased surface area on the outside, drawing out the heat. Of course, condensation wouldn't be an issue without vapor, excess vapor coming from the bathroom, kitchen, drying clothes, and to a degree respiration.